Welcome back, guys, to the Bear Podcast Show, episode 12, with me, Sean Scullion, aka the Handsome Stranger, Owen, aka the Bear, Aidan, the face for radio, behind the scenes, and today we have Lee Hutchinson, magician. Welcome.
How's it going? Good.
Lee, welcome to the Bear Pit. Somebody's just turned around and told me before we come on that aka the shit Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan, exactly.
Well, I think that's a very rude thing to say. I was listening to you guys coming here and I'm very excited. I genuinely have no idea how this is going to go. I've lots of surprises. I'm a magician. So I've got a bag full of tricks. Don't know how it's going to come off on camera. And this is live, really, in some capacity. So we got a little surprise in the middle of this table. And we haven't done anything beforehand. We haven't met before. This is really my first time also meeting you guys. So I'm very excited for that. And
brilliant. Let's get it started.
Yeah.
So what is this? Are we?
No.
Just you relax, mister. Keep them hands over there.
But hey, Lee, tell us a bit about yourself. Like, where did you grow up? Cookstown, obviously. You're a Cookstown lad.
Yeah, so grew up in Cookstown, Killymoon, if you know it.
You do not sound like a Cookstown person, to be fair.
I travelled Cookstown man.
Cookstown man.
Yeah, I travelled because, well, whenever I'm performing, I have to try and speak clearly so people can understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. Or
else I go up to them and like, oh, geez, here, pick a cards. And like, what the fuck's this kid saying? So I always had to try to speak a bit more clearly. But yeah, I grew up in Cookstown, went to Cookstown High School, super local guy. My dad owns a butcher's in town. I worked in the butchery when I was about 13. Found magic when I was... What age did we find magic, Joel? Must have been about 16. This kid showed me...
Sorry, Joel is also here.
Joel, we
should have mic'd him up too.
We should have stuck him in here. But Joel showed me a trick one day in school, and I still remember it to this day, but it fooled me so much. Annoyed the shit out of me. Right?
He disappeared a $5 out of your pocket.
He stole the $5. But it annoyed me so much that I had to do better. And then me and Joel's my best friend, so we ended up getting into this weird rivalry where every day we would come into school and we would show each other a trick to our friends group. And through the process of that, we ended up learning a lot of good magic tricks through YouTube and reading books and getting into that space. So after that, both of us was like, well, we should go out and start performing to the public. Where do we go? And we went to Asda. That's the only place that we could find. So the very first woman, God help the woman, but that I done magic on was this old lady in Asda picking bird's eye chicken burgers up, and I walked up with a deck of cards. Excuse me, would you like to see a magic trick? And she was like, what on earth is going on here? But yes, go for it. And a horrible trick, wasn't great, but that's kind of how the journey started, man. Now here I am at 24 and traveled the world with it, and it's been such a beautiful experience. So
I'm intrigued because the magic, and especially now from the likes of Britain's Got Talent and some of the Dynamo and coming to the forefront, because I don't mean this in a way. It used to be seen as like a nerdy pastime, and now it's like it is the cool things. We have some of the top magicians in the world now coming from around here. So and as yourself, there's travel in the world, and some of the people you've performed. It's unreal how it's all changed, and I suppose the internet's helped a lot with that there.
Oh, massively. I think social media is, and you'll hear about the whole side of social media and magic, but social media, it's definitely brought it into the limelight of, hang on, this isn't like weird pedos with pulling rabbits out of hats, and these like creepy, sweaty men with long, that you'd want to stay away from, covered in makeup. Definitely not. That stereotype of magicians is so heavily broken. And also just the space for them to perform in. So the kind of stuff that I do now is all nearly iPhone. So I do a lot of iPhone magic. So it's very organic. I can go up and I can unlock someone's iPhone pretty much straight away. I can get in and hack.
Oh, dangerous man! A dangerous man.
So clear your history before I send him a message. Bears is throwing his phone away. It's like he's not seeing my dirty secrets.
You don't work with the police, do you?
It's your wife that'll be looking the number.
And send in backup now.
So that's unreal. And then you were performing locally, and then did you get the buzz for it? Did you get there has to also be an element of like the showmanship, getting the response. You want people's like you want to bend their mind. You want to.
Yeah. So I mean, really, at the core of it is I love attention. I'm a massive attention seeker. I fucking love.
Well,
attention.
you're the first. We've had lots of attention seekers in here, and they've all denied it. But you're the first man who goes, "Yeah, I fucking love it."
Oh, I love it.
Own it.
Absolutely love it. And I don't love it in like, I don't think like, not in a negative way, more in a really positive way, where I get to make people feel good. And in return, that makes me feel good. It kind of gives me fulfillment in some capacity. So yeah, man, it's a great joy. It's also universal, so everybody can understand it. It's not a language that they need to really speak English with. It's visual. It breaks the ice. It's so fun in so many ways.
And I suppose it's always changing. Like, you're always evolving that. You're evolving what you're doing and thinking, and it keeps you sharp that day.
Yeah, and you can always get better. You can always, like, your performance can always get better. So that's the most important thing, is that the tricks will probably stay the same, and you can do different things with different, like an iPhone, and there'll be new apps, but really it's your performance which is the most important part of any magic trick.
How you're engaging with people.
How I look at you, my misdirection, the words that I say, how I engage and how you engage back, and reading people and understanding people types and how different people can be and what they would react to. It's so many elements go into it to kind of create this weird puzzle of how is this trick going to unfold? Because you really don't know. But that's the fun part. It's because we live in this
we're going to do
area.
something, aren't we? We're going to do something. I want to go home going, I don't know what happened. What the fuck just went on there?
that could have been one.
But I'm excited because it's just something I'm not actually, it wasn't something I'd watched a lot or thing. I know that, you would have got who was it back in the day? Daniels,
Paul Daniels,
he was the OG, like, wasn't he? He was the original first to bring magic to live TV in this country. But so then we're on the journey. We're in school. We're doing the tricks. We went to Asda, and some woman's dropped the bird's eye chicken coujons on the floor.
Some woman's running to Tesco, being like, "I'm never going back to Asda. It's filled with these weird, creepy magicians." So yeah, to fast forward, I done it professionally then for like a year. Kind of at home, was working in secrets and any gig that I can find, hustling, going into places.
How did you get the first shot? Like, where did you just approach them and say?
No, funny enough, we were on a night out, and it was my pickup line for girls. So extreme. I don't advise it. Do not do it. It's extremely.
I can open your
weird.
iPhone. No, put my number in.
This is before them. But this is before I was at that level. So I go up with a packet of cards, and they would just look at me, being like, "Why do you have a packet of cards in a night out?" And yeah, it didn't. But
did it work?
Never worked. Never worked. That's what I'm saying. Do not think that this is a good strategy. Horrible strategy. Leave it for like the second date, and then intertwine it and use it to your benefit. But. So I was just performing in secrets. The owner seen me and was like, "Mate, would you like to do this?" And I was like, 100%, let's do it. So that was how that kind of happened. And then through that, you would perform to someone and a friend of a friend. It kind of just grows organically, naturally, which is nice. So I'd done that for about a year. Then I got it. So the magician community is very small.
Yeah.
It's a very small community.
Is there like a circle or something called?
The Magic Circle, yeah, which is in London. So once you're in that, you're kind of, now there's a lot of older guys in it, but if you're young and it's kind of just like, so Joel from Belfast.
Yeah.
I remember we went to the Magic Circle in there's one in Belfast.
Just for the people that's watching don't know, Joel's now got a gig on Blue Peter, isn't it?
Yeah,
right?
Joel M. Great guy. You should definitely get him on. I
think he is penciled, but I think it's March time or something.
Yeah.
Is it? He's such a lovely soul. Really good guy.
He's not in it, but did I watch him on one saying he's not in it yet either?
In the Magic Circle. So he's not in the one in London, but we went to the one in Belfast, and 99% of the guys were all creeps, right? And I remember walking in,
and you're like, we're at home.
I'm like, this place would be perfect for bear.
I genuinely think I could do a magic trick. Did you ever hear the 52 pickup?
And then Joel stuck out like a sore thumb, and I was like, right, there's the one cool kid. So with it, the magic community is very small, and if you're kind of young and I wouldn't even want to say the word cool, but if you're just young and like fresh, maybe, or whatever you would describe it, you kind of get close. So I have a good friend, Julius, and he sent me a message. To do this last minute gig in Romania, and Post Malone and Jason Derulo was there, Kygo, loads of these famous artists. I had one day to
So
prepare for it.
so in 1 minute you're over here.
1 minute I'm over here.
You're gigging around local, and then pardon me, and the next minute your mate's on to you saying, "Let's go."
And I'd never really met this guy, Julius. We just were kind of like acquaintances through the community in that sense. And he was like, "There's this trick that I'd love to do. Do you think can you come up with it?" So I had to design this trick, and I had to teach him that trick basically in the space of 24 hours. I had to fly to Romania with this trick to teach him, and then he then performed it in all of these big hotshots guys at this VIP event at this festival. And after that, man, my life changed forever.
He performed. Isn't this? But am I wrong in thinking this? This is like songwriters giving like aces till singers well known, and then they're delivering theirs. But
beautiful analogy.
Is it a weird way that you're sitting going, well, he didn't do it as good as I do, but he's all right?
Didn't do it half as good. Didn't do it half as good. And this guy's not a good magician. He's a brilliant businessman. All credit to his business, but not a good shit dexterity. Balls of steel though. Balls of absolute steel. You know, like he barely practiced it, and he's just like, mate, I'll be fine. And walks right up to all these guys, not even nervous. You know, and he gets and he pulls it off. So like, credit to him.
Your trick came from literally from Northern Ireland till some of the biggest stars in the world the next day. Was your mind not in an absolute spin? You're like, oh, Romania, I've never been to Romania, or maybe I've been to Romania, and you're like, next thing I'm in Romania, and this guy's performing to the what the fuck is going on here?
It was mental. But like I was literally I was chatting away to Kygo as if we were friends while he was waiting to get the trick done on him, and it was so bizarre, so bizarre that experience. And then after that, me and Julius then became best friends. We started traveling the world and doing this all the time, and we ended up performing to pretty much every big celebrity out there. We went to all these exclusive VIP events.
Just so the people there that's watching or might not know, Julius is a big online presence, isn't he? What's his?
He's definitely the most famous magician in the world right now.
What's the full name? Julius.
It's his name's Julius Dean, and you can have a look at him. But he's maybe got, I think, about 80 million followers across everything now. Like it's really blowing up for him.
So he wasn't that when you went out to Romania, but was it?
No, whenever I went out to Romania, I think he had about 4 million.
So he was still on a way of going.
Like he was only getting started, and he's a terrible magician. So he's not very creative. So he needed to find someone that could come up with the creative and teach him and sort of be his magic, be his songwriter to his album, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that all unfolded. We traveled. We had so many amazing times. We went to Vegas. We partied with all of these celebrities like Dan Bilzerian and wild nights and
I
want
to go to one of them parties.
Yeah,
like 100%. I could see me.
There is an age limit, so
Halloween.
Oh, he pulled the rug out from underneath your feet.
Fucking dagger in the heart. I'm fucking it was my dream to be in a Halloween party in Dan Bilzerian, but I'm fucking 5 years too old.
He only said what we were all thinking.
There's only love.
We're only thinking you're fucking older than me, you bollocks. But I just think this is actually mental. So 1 minute you're doing that there, and you're in the circuit, and you're and so after a year, you probably weren't even at what you would have felt. Obviously, you were like, I'm bringing new stuff. I'm at the top of the tree here. But as opposed to serving your time at home, you know, you weren't really. And then all of a sudden, you're out in front. You're doing this. This guy says to you, "Look, we're on to something here. Let's go."
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, fuck it, have passport, we'll travel.
100%. It was a complete moment in life where it was like, I had no idea what to expect. Very last minute, I had to basically cancel gigs and drop everything and just say to Mum, by the way, can we go to Dublin Airport at 5 o'clock in the morning here? I've got a random flight to Romania. Never heard of the city in my life. Never heard of the festival. Never heard of anything. You know, like it was completely new to me. And it was that moment, like I was only 19 at this time.
And when was that? You were 19, and how many years ago was that?
So I'm 20. That was 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Yeah, I was just turning 20 because I remember it was just before my birthday, and complete yes moment. Everyone out there.
How many people do you think in their life has had their shot and didn't have the cojones to say, "Ma, you're up at 3. We're out of here.
Drive me to the airport."
Lethal, right? And we're there. I'm invested.
So I mean, if you ever get that opportunity, always say yes. You've absolutely nothing to use, especially at my age when we're so young, because really all you ever lose in life is time. That's really the most valuable thing. And when you're my age, man, you can screw up as many times as you want. You know, you don't need to have your shit figured out.
But just not my age. Fuck you, but Dan Bilzerian, you're older than me.
He probably actually is. Him plastic, from top to bottom.
Hero. So
Stem cell.
then, so we're out there. Sorry, because I'm talking about myself, but you're out there, and then you were in Vegas. Like Vegas is the home of Showcase and Magic, isn't it?
Yeah. So funny enough, so after Romania, we went straight to Vegas. There's a thing called Magic Live. Now this is where I like proper geeked out, because Magic Live is a convention with all of the smartest magicians. They come together and they teach these tricks that they've come up with, and you buy tricks, and it's a really good way of like connecting with really creative.
If you could sell it, I was thinking that it's your art. If I could sell this to you to run your show, that's cool, because I have actually seen that Magic Live. It's like Comic-Con. There's the massive. There's one of the biggest in Vegas.
Yeah, and it's amazing, man. I always would love to take a layman. That's what you call someone who's not a magician. Someone who doesn't know anything about the sort of.
Me and Sean.
You two guys, I'd love to bring
I'd like to take you two virgins with me.
I'd love to and watch you lose your virginity in that room, because it's so wild and wacky. It's like something out of fucking Star Wars, to be honest. The people are so strange, and you have all walks of life, but their magicians really are some of the best people I've ever met. And so we ended up going there, and then there was this VIP party happening. So we got David Blaine, David Copperfield, and pretty much everyone,
just the who's who of
everyone underneath that you would never know, but in the magic community are like the dog's dick. Like they're the guys who Blaine and Copperfield buy their stuff off. And we were at this party with them. We were just having it was the guy's private house. And so to go from Cookstown to then 4 days later, David Copperfield eating his burger beside me. And I'm just like, what is happening here? Like something, this is just, I'm literally living in a dream. It's so wild. And after that, then where did we go?
But you put yourself in the right circle, the right people, the right places. Things are going to happen.
100%, man. And I was.
Are they the likes of David Blaine? They're just the better show people at it. There's people behind them giving them all their content, and they're just they look better on TV, or they come across better, or they interact better. So it is like that. It's a performance. It's a performance, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. They're like, especially David Copperfield. So the guy's house that we were at is a guy called Chris Kenner, who's his magic consultant, and he's the real genius behind it all. So
in the magic circle, the consultant is the main guy.
The consultant is always the guy coming up with the stuff, and usually when you meet the consultant, you're like, you're more talented, but the other guy has had more luck, a better opportunity to get in that position. But David Blaine's, he's got his own style, his own aesthetic. He's built his own kind of
and a wee aura thing.
He's got an aura around him.
He's weird too.
So, yeah, he also does them wild challenges, which separates him from the crowd. Yeah. So, it's an interesting community. It's and the more you get into it, the more. Man, the people are just amazing in it. It's amazing to see, and you'll meet Joel, and you'll see it's really cool, beautiful community of people.
So you're in Vegas, and then where's the next? Where is the next on the?
After Vegas, we went to LA, and then we stayed at this place called the Hosts Group, which again was how would I even describe it? It was kind of like going into. I mean, to be honest, man, so much happened. We could sit here for hours talking about everything that happened in that year. But to very quick, the host group was these two really rich Israeli kids who grew up in LA. Their parents are just, into property, like that level of money there. So they have this villa that they just were given to for free and to live in and to do nothing really. And all they do is they invite these models to stay. And they have 6 bedrooms.
Have they an age limit?
They don't
I wonder, can I fucking pop round and see?
There's definitely a spare bedroom for you. But yeah, they just bring in these models in and out. So we stayed there, and
you poor soul.
It was horrible, man. It was a really difficult time in life, and
missing Cookstown,
missing my dog. Missing. Just I was very lonely, and
it breaks my heart for you.
Yeah, I them 4 nights were a real. I got no sleep.
No wonder you can't. No wonder there's no memory of what happened.
It's just like something was keeping me up at night, and it was just really dark times.
We are going to have an off-air chat, a more in-depth off-air chat. But so you were there with this is mad. Like
it was mental, man. It was like something. It was literally like a TV show, and these girls would come in and out all the like new girls. Like they had a big Instagram following, so they just be like. LA is filled with models and young girls trying to make a career of themselves. So it's an incredibly disgusting, you know, and I definitely don't agree with it. But to be there for a couple of days, I was like, this is just like it's like I was living in this bubble. Like I had stepped into a TV show, and there was a load of influencers there. There was a lot of people who had like big followings, and wild. And then after that, we went to Bali, and then after that, we went to Cuba, Jamaica. We ended up traveling around, and then it was wild. It was wild.
And then I suppose then COVID interrupted the middle of the whole thing, did it? Or
yeah, so we'd done that for a year. COVID then happened.
Had you travelled much before you went out to Romania?
Yeah, loads. Yeah, like me and Joel would travel all the time as much as possible. So I'd already been to Bali. I'd already been like to a lot of Asia. I had travelled a lot with my family. So it was in my blood anyway to be spontaneous, to say yes, to just go with the flow. And the whole time I was doing this, man, I was so nervous. Like I was not a good magician then. I had just got in a good position to pretend that I was a good magician. I kind of rhymed quite nicely.
You were faking it till you made it.
I was faking it till I made it, man. So this one trick, I had one trick basically to give Julius, and everything of it, you know, because whenever somebody hires you as a consultant, they're paying you good money, and they basically expect, you know, almost like James Bond walking in, and who's James Bond, or would it be who's it? Batman? Who's Batman?
Robin.
Not the sidekick, the guy that kits him out with all the technology. Morgan Freeman in The Dark Knight, right? Yes. And he's like, what you got? And he's like, well, we've got this, and I've got this idea. I've got this Coke can turn into a Fanta can.
You weren't confident in what you were...
Rocking in empty-handed, had one trick, and I was filled with confidence to convince this guy that I had 10 tricks, okay? But I just convinced him that he only needed this one trick, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it was really just confidence over ability in that situation, and I really had to like really pick up my game to continue that as I was working with this guy. So going to Magic Live and meeting all these other magicians was a massive pro for me, because I'm secretly like buying books and buying tricks and then pretending they're mine. And then I also had to help him a lot with his social media. I was doing a lot of video work. I wasn't a videographer at all, really. And I had to learn how to work a camera pretty much overnight. So there was all these elements to it that I had to like learn about production, and so I was up late at night watching YouTube videos at what is ISO, how do you work autofocus, how do I work this Sony camera. So there's so many elements to it where I was just really having to fake it and until I made it, and just pretended with him that I can do this, but really I had no clue on the inside, but I was just winging it, man.
Because his was massive about, as much as performing to people, it was online. A lot of the stuff was done online.
Yeah, so every time we would do a trick, I would have to capture it on a camera so that we could then post it on Instagram. That's all he cared about. He didn't give a shit about Kygo in person. He just wanted to make sure he got a good shot with Kygo for his Instagram. Yeah. And that helped him massively. That really is what
he knew what was working on.
He knew what he was doing, man. He was a very smart businessman in that sense, you know, like he knew that this is what's going to make his money, this is what's going to build his brand. Being with him in person is very cool, but if you don't document it and you don't show the world that, it's pretty much pointless. So all that was happening, all that happened. COVID then came, and we both took some time off. We both took 6 months off. Kind of just, it was very loose, you know, it was literally just like two best friends traveling around. So it's very loose. He went to Mexico with his girlfriend. I went to Portrush and went into hibernation at my family holiday.
To Mexico, I went to Portrush.
Big contrast.
Where did he go? I think that's like an outtake on its own. He went to Mexico, I went to Portrush.
And I'd take Portrush any day of the week over it, man. It was beautiful. And so I went, and I needed to get away from this guy because he's a nutcase. He's an absolute nutcase.
It'd be an intense environment, wouldn't it?
Very intense. I've never met a character like, and I've met a lot of characters. I've never met a character like him in my life. He was on another level, and he still is, and he just gets worse as he gets older and older and older, man. But he is. So he's like having 10 coffees in someone all the time.
A lot of what you've done became the industry standard, isn't it?
Pretty much. Like he pretty much set the benchmark. That style of content that we ended up making pretty much was the benchmark for magic online. Yeah. He was the first social media magician. So he was on the same like wavelength as Logan Paul, KSI. We also went there. We done their podcast, stayed at their house for 2 nights.
This is obviously a better one.
Yeah. But dude,
fuck you, Logan Paul.
Yeah, this is a far better setup. So it is. But
you really have like fuck, and this was the rise was ridiculous and all round, and you were getting in the right places at the right time. But what I meant was the benchmark was that video and that posting them videos. that was new, and Facebook was on the top at the time, and
Yeah.
that was there's so many coming through now, and young ones will be watching this that'll know that you do magic, and they have it, and that's what they want to do, and they're at home practicing now, and what they're going to do and how they're posting their videos, their TikToks and whatever. I know it's evolved now into different platforms, but that was the benchmark. That's what all of a sudden this worked for him, and everyone was like, right.
Yeah. He set a trend that everybody could follow. And it's not impossible to set these new trends. You just have to be a little bit more. I think you just have to pick a tighter niche.
It's harder now.
It's a lot harder, but it's also a lot easier because there's so much more exposure out there. There's more competition, but there's more niches that you can get into,
and also more people willing to watch it now.
Yeah.
So when they're breaking down them barriers, and people actually now saying, "Geez, I enjoy watching these magic,"
Yeah.
trying to work it. Everyone's always trying to work it out.
So like if I was to do it again for someone else, so Julius was the first into it, so he could be very generic with it. His was just him performing magic to famous people, super simple. Joel then came around. Joel couldn't repeat that because Julius has already done it. So Joel actually came up with his own format where he would teach you a magic trick behind the scenes. I don't know if you've ever seen the videos where it's him performing to a camera. The actual real camera is recording him from the side, and he would teach you how the magic trick works.
That's right. Yeah.
Genius. So he was always finding these
There was
new
a
niches.
TV show doing that, wasn't there?
Yes, Magic's Biggest Secrets Revealed.
They got death threats and everything.
Oh man, that got a lot of stick because they crossed so many lines. All these magicians.
They ruined shows.
Yeah,
Like
massively.
the amount of ones in Vegas had to start taking tricks out because they ruined it.
Yeah.
But we've diversed. We're back.
we at?
COVID stopped the world.
I'm meditating in Portrush, trying to recover from a year of just from jet lag.
He's traumatized by all the models in LA. He's back in Portrush with the grounding. And then COVID hit. Then I suppose you were like everyone going, "Oh, what way is that going to affect me?"
Didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know. I mean, I got stuck in a beautiful place, man. Portrush became like it was empty. There was no one there. So done that for 6 months. Julius then calls me, and I'm looking. I'm like, "Oh God, what is this going to be?" So he's in Mexico. COVID doesn't exist in Mexico, and he's showing me it's like the hotels are filled and people are walking around, and there's no restrictions, there's no masks, no talk of a vaccine or anything. And he's mentioning that he's noticed something very weird is happening with his Facebook page. So after a long conversation, we kind of worked out that Facebook had changed their algorithm to now favor people making content, original content for Facebook. So not like Unilad or these Telegraph pages or these publishing pages. They wanted actual real people with real pages making specific content for Facebook, original content, because everybody's now on Instagram and TikTok. So he had this video from like 6 months ago that we made in his Facebook that barely got any views, and then all of a sudden it was on 12 million views. So we knew something was up, and he had this sixth sense almost that this is going to be like the start of something massive with Facebook. And these videos are monetized, so they're making money. So out of them, a couple of million, he's maybe made £10,000. So he's happy. He's now seeing his page making money. So I jump on a flight back to Mexico pretty much in a day, 2 days, I think. I found the first flight, and we went out and we started making these long form prank videos, very generic prank videos that we were coming up with ourselves, very creative and original. And within the first month, we were maybe getting, I think, like 150 million views.
Jeez.
Like his page just took off. Facebook really just started giving us this massive exposure because they were looking to bring people to the platform. That then started this tidal wave, this kind of momentum running. So then we flew my other friend Tom out, we flew him in, amazing creative guy. So we're using the psychology of a magic trick to make these 3-minute long prank videos. So the first 5 seconds of the video has to have a very clear hook. Now that hook could be, for example, our most viral video that we have, I think just crossed 1 billion views.
Holy Jesus.
And the hook of that video is a pretty girl lying on the beach in a bikini, sleeping. And within the first 2 seconds, I pull up in a jet ski with a rope and a pair of scissors.
I've seen this.
And I tie her to the jet ski and then pull her into the water.
I didn't even know you were in that video, but I know her.
I will share details after this. So that's the clear hook. The hook is obviously you watch it and you're like, I can see what this kid's going to do. He's going to tie her and it's going to go in. We then just do a lot of what we call flicks, and it's kind of, we keep their attention going, and we do these little things to make it look like it's about to happen at any second, but really we need them to watch for 3 minutes. And then at the 3 minute mark, I turn on the jet ski for real this time and I pull her into the water. So we developed this viral formula that we apply to every single video, which is essentially the psychology of a magic trick. You pick a card, I entertain you for that routine, and I keep you engaged until that card then is there's a final reveal. So similar psychology, but done in these viral videos.
There is so many people listening to this right now and going, fuck, I'm changing the video I'm making tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bear Competitions is going to get a whole new format.
You rocking up in a jet ski.
How would you like to win and then wait for 3 minutes? Before they know, but I like it, right? So then this, 1 billion views.
Yeah.
How much was made on that?
So how much was being made?
How much money would you make on that then?
We were making about 7 figures a month.
So
plus
Jesus Christ. So like I had to work that out. I was like, where in the millions? But so plus a month, but it's not, I suppose even at that point money's starting to come in, opportunities starting to come in, but it was just like a fucking like, let's keep going.
Oh man, we were kids, you know, like I was 23 then.
There's 7 million people in the world. Some of them are children. 1 in 7 people have seen that video.
Yeah.
That is fucking mental.
Yeah, which is absurd. So we're still very young, man, and this is all happening so fast, like incredibly fast. We're seeing the money come in, we're seeing the views going up. We're thinking, how do we scale this? So at this point, we were just in like a small apartment. We then went and got the biggest villa we could find. We called Tom, and then came out, and then we found an assistant out there, a girl Chloe from New Zealand, and her job was to scout talent. So we went and found about 6 or 7 girls that we could hire full time, and then we hired about 4 editors, a couple of videographers. We brought in a load of equipment, a load of production, and then we built a separate team as well. So we trained a team how to make this content independently that we could review. We had 2 magicians in, and these are all magicians, by the way. Everyone who was making the video was a magician. So they come from the background of understanding the psychology of how to make these viral. And the videos aren't our personality. Nobody knows who we are. We're just actors. You know, one day I'm a waiter. We done an amazing one that got, I think it's on 750 million views right now on Facebook, where we faked and you could only do this in Mexico.
Can we play wee small clips of this?
You can find it. Yeah, it's. I'll be able to link you with this stuff. But this one was so Playa del Carmen, Mexico. This was the only place in the world that you could ever do this kind of stuff. So we're doing the pranks. So this one was, we went into a cafe, we paid the cafe owner, we were like, hey, could we make a very quick 3 minutes she had no clue what we were saying, we don't really speak good Spanish, but she knew that we wanted to make a social media video, so she was like, yeah, fine, go on ahead guys, you do what you want to do. And then all of a sudden this car pulls up, 7 of us jump out, I'm dressed as a manager, my mate's dressed as a waiter, we got this pregnant lady with a fake pregnant belly with a balloon inside it. We set the camera up and we go action. And we've already rehearsed it at the house, so we know exactly what we're doing. So she's drinking a coffee. Straight away, her water breaks. That's the hook. Everybody watches this. They're saying, oh my gosh, pregnant lady, giving birth in a cafe. What's going to happen? Okay. Turns out there's a doctor, Josh, a hired actor, guy who lives with us, who's pretending to be a doctor. He's having a coffee beside her. He realizes what's happening. He takes control of the situation and then delivers the baby. And we have a baby. We position it perfectly so the chair covers the bits, so you can't see anything. So it's kept PG, so it can be monetized. And yeah, and the police actually drive past. You can see in the background of that video. And we had to one of us had to run behind camera and tell the police, no, it's for a video. So we do the wildest stuff, man. We got arrested for pretending to be police officers in a video. We got fake police costumes, and we done a video that got 450 million views and this is bad, like these aren't ethical videos, but at the time we were just coming up with the most creative, like engaging. So this one was, we planted flour on a woman that we pulled over, right? And then the police actually pulled us over as we were doing this, and they found the flour and they thought it was drugs and everything. It was a real scary situation.
Fucking Mexico too.
Had
you no problem with cartels or anything like that?
We did, yeah. So my very first experience in Mexico was
scary.
Second night, we were in Cancun. This is before we moved to Playa del Carmen. So we stayed in Cancun for like a week, and this is why we then moved to Playa del Carmen. We done a video where I was dressed as a clown inside a trash bag, and there was a girl coming putting out the trash, and eventually I'd pop out and scare her. And when I scared her, she was screaming so much, and we had to do the video 4 times. So imagine a girl screaming, and then we do the video. We'd say, okay, let's reshoot that. You know, it didn't look good. So she screamed about 4 or 5 times, screaming very loud. And all of a sudden, this guy's at the front door with a machete. And I have a video, and it's the wildest video, man. He's got a machete, and he's screaming in Spanish at us. And we're terrified. And he comes in through the drive, and there's another guy, Goob, with us, who is an amazing guy. He's a big influencer as well. He's the guy that came out with us, and he's standing in front of this guy with the broomstick, and he's like, don't come into my driveway. Like, he was trying to show that he wasn't scared of him, and the guy swings the machete 4 times at him, and Goob, I'm not even joking you, in the video, he's holding the stick up like this, deflecting it like a Spartan, and the broomstick is being cut each time.
Jesus.
Until he's left with this wee stump, and the guy's slamming it off the wall beside his face, clearly in the Cartel, because you could see all the tattoos and all the stuff, and he's shouting stuff. He's obviously really annoyed that we've done this and we're making all this noise in his area.
And you have all this in video?
It's all in video, man. I ran into the house and grabbed a knife and we came back out, and I was saying to the girl that I was with, I was like, we need to go and jump over the wall. Like, don't stay here. Like, he's going to cut Goob's head off, and then he's going to get Julius's head, and then he's going to come for us. Like, we should go. I've got a knife. That's what I was saying. Meanwhile, Julius is just sitting videoing this, you know. And Goob is standing.
What a crazy bastard!
Crazy
man
man.
standing with a machete. That's not a knife. This was a knife.
Yeah, man, it was mental. It was mental. So then after that, we're like, right, we need to get out of here. We called the police. They came and didn't really do much. And then we went down to Playa del Carmen because it's a little bit safer there, but always.
So they reckon that the reason you don't hear any problems in Cancun is the cartels own the big hotels in Cancun. So all them big hotels and holiday, the reason there is no trouble in Cancun is kept safe is the cartels know they own the hotel, and if they fucking start shooting each other, I know they got into a bit of a jet ski and they come off and shot up on the thing, but the cartels don't bother with Cancun because they own it.
Yeah, it's actually relatively safe, to be honest. And you just pay the police off. Like, whenever I got arrested, it cost us $5,000 for me to get out. We had another guy got arrested, and he had an awful experience in the prison. Luckily, when I got there, they were able to basically bail me out straight away. They were able to go get the cash. When the other guy got arrested, he had just been brought out. We'd hired him as an editor, and we were short on actors, so he ended up being a policeman for one of these videos. We stuck him in a police suit, threw him right out in the firing line. He got arrested for imitating the police officer. They pulled up and kind of hijacked the shoot and arrested him, and he went into prison overnight. He had to spend the night there, and in a shared cell, and a guy came up to him in prison and took his clothes, right? So he came out to us in his boxers, terrified. He quit the job pretty much straight away. So it was honestly, man, we were on like kind of this war, you know, on the front line.
Couple of fucking 20-year-olds running around wrecking around Mexico.
It was terrifying. It was terrifying.
Disaster.
And like, it's not nice. Some of the experiences, and we went through a lot. It was very draining on us, you know, but we grew up massively as from kids to like young adults, and the business was thriving through it.
Did you have any direct dealing with Facebook? Once you get that big, do they reach out? And do you get to sit with them and say, look, listen, if you keep doing this, we're going to show you here? And
Yeah. So we got a couple of connections within Facebook. More so, they didn't like a lot of the content, so they were keeping a close eye on us, saying this is too close to.
Yeah, well, a man swinging a machete around.
Well, we didn't post any of that. That was just like a person. We thankfully did not post any of that, and we did keep it as PG as we could and kind of as moral as we could.
But you walked the line.
We walked the line, man. We really pushed that line, and then to come. So within about 6 months, we were averaging about 2 billion views a month. That's what we were getting.
The biggest page on Facebook.
We weren't the biggest yet. We were 7th, but we were getting there.
Who's Supercar Blonde or someone like that, isn't it?
Supercar Blonde, Crafty Crafts, man, was rocking #1 for time.
Who's Crafty Crafts?
It's just a craft page, generic craft page. I think they're based in India, and they just make craft videos, and they do so well. I mean, and they've been doing this for like 7 years, so very successful. So that's what you could, if this doesn't go well.
2 billion views.
2 billion views a month, yeah. And really, man, it was just me and the guy Tom directing everything. The guy Julius, great sort of visionary kind of. He was the guy sort of always looking at the bigger picture, but he didn't know how to run the day-to-day operations because it became this really big production company. So me and Tom were the guys that would have to go down at breakfast every morning and look at each other and say, right, we have to shoot 4 videos today. What could we do? We could try.
Well, you just like, it needs to get bigger. It needs to get bigger.
We were just, man, we were getting creatively burnt out because we had to come up with these ideas every single day. We worked 7 days a week. We didn't really take much time off. We would celebrate at the end of each month at how much we made and how many views we got, and we would go out and sort of have a bit of fun, but we were really focused on just...
At 2 billion views, what is the sort of turnover on that page?
Well, I think, so yeah, it depends as well. So the interesting thing is you don't get paid per view. Each view is actually different. And we started to learn this, that a video could go viral in India, and you could get 500 million views, or you could get a video that goes viral in America or the UK or Australia, somewhere like very Western where it's a very wealthy economy, and you can maybe get 50 million views. Now the CPM, that's per how much you make per view, is going to be a lot higher in America. So the video that gets 50 million might make 40 grand, and the video that gets 500 million in India might only make $500. Like it was incredible. It was very interesting. So we purposely started wearing American clothes. We purposely started to look American. We spoke American. We would get Gatorade. We would make it look as American as we possibly could, so that whenever these videos went viral, it would go viral in America, and it worked massively.
You must have had to analyze a lot. You're like, that went well. Let's strip it back. How did that go well? What do we do? Or did you have just a set formula and like, we're sticking with this formula, let's just keep going?
It constantly changed. And we had competition. There was another American magicians copying us, kind of like a copycat version of.
But
what
you get
we were in
that.
Mexico.
So if you're doing good, it's only good for this week.
Yeah,
because somebody's doing it next week.
So it was very exhausting in the creative front to come up with these new ideas, like to come up with 4 original pranks every day, and they have to be very visual and very very artistic almost in what you're using and engaging. And so we done some wild, funny videos across that. I think we produced over like 1,400 videos over the span of a year.
How many actually get, out of all the ones you do, how many make it to the page? Pretty
much 95%. Oh, yeah, but we wouldn't do a video if we knew that it was on the edge. Maybe it wouldn't make it because it was just bad, and you maybe didn't put enough effort in. But most video we'd post it. But it constantly was changing. So it was these 3-minute videos. Then it switched to Facebook Lives, and you could start making more money at Facebook Lives. So you would have to turn that 3-minute video into a 10-minute video, which was to get 3 minutes out of somebody watching something happen was difficult enough, yet alone to push it to 10 minutes. So we had to reevaluate the formula and change things, and it was constantly just trial and error. This video would go very viral. This video wouldn't. We'd learn from it. We would apply more stuff.
What was, I suppose even then, Facebook, to me, maybe I'm wrong, was dying on this Instagram and this TikTok. And so when you were doing that, were you just concentrating on Facebook or across all platforms? Or
just Facebook.
Yeah.
Totally just Facebook. Because the style of content wasn't necessarily, again, my name's Lee Hutchinson, here's my video. We weren't connected to it in that way. We were just these actors in this sort of play. So it only really worked for Facebook. We could only get away with it on Facebook. If you posted it on Instagram, there's no personality behind it, directing it. You're not following the Bear Podcast Show for you guys. It was just this generic page, happened to be called Julius Dean, but he had basically sold his brand on it. And it was just, we were posting all kinds of pranky videos. Then come March, right? And we had an idea so we were only doing pranks at this point, right? And we were like, we need to diversify the format. We're running out of ideas. We can't simply just keep doing pranks. And then one of us had the idea, I forget who it was, but someone was just like, why don't we do a fake CCTV video? And man, that changed. That's how we got to number 1. So the idea behind that is we just set an iPhone on a tripod. It's all shot on iPhones for portrait. So the turnaround is very quick. There's very little editing that we'd need to. iPhone, AirDrop, MacBook, we'd post in about 20 minutes of once we finish the shoot. And so this guy was like, yeah, just stick a camera up and we can reenact all these, scenarios, like robbers coming into a house, police arresting people, or people doing like really dodgy stuff, or real feel good stuff of like finding a homeless man and buying him a new tent. We could do anything. All of a sudden, this limit of being in a prank was just exploded, and we could do whatever we wanted. So we started doing these CCTV videos. So we had pranks, and then we had another team doing CCTV videos, this own sort of format that we created. And that's whenever we started getting up to 4 billion views a month. And at that point, we were number 1. And then our highest month, I think we got 5.6 billion views in 1 month.
crazy.
That is mad.
which is absurd, man. So probably everybody has seen the videos that we were producing, but they don't realize it. It's one of them videos that you go on and endlessly scroll through. You're not watching it because you want to watch it. It's like Facebook will give it to you and you're just flicking and you're like, oh, that's interesting, or that's funny.
And that's mad. So like, it's and also mad to believe that probably one of the most viewed people in the world has come from Corkstown and just down the road from us, and you're there and you're in the thrust of it. And then like, does it get too much? Does it get on top of you? Like, that has to be pressure. Like, if you deliver a video if you're delivering this month and done 5.6 is no good. Next month it's 5.7, it's 5.8. And like, if you drop till half that, like, which is a fucking ridiculous amount of money, it's just not. It's crazy.
Yeah, we knew that we were living in this bubble. We knew that none of this was the real life. We had created this little bubble in Mexico that just was so disconnected from the real world, like, or the idea of the job, how we were making money. Like, that's not a real way to make money. Like, it was like the weirdest thing, man. You know, like, it didn't feel real. It didn't feel like we deserved it. Almost, we were like, this is too easy. You know, just to come up with these ideas and to get money like this. So we knew it was going to end inevitably. Like, we were all preparing for this day that Facebook would flick that button off and we'd pretty much be cancelled. And that did happen. And it all sort of played out as it was meant to. I think it happened. When did it happen? We got about 1.5 years out of it before Facebook changed the algorithm, and it became very difficult to do what we were doing. And it's kind of been that way ever since.
Facebook are ruthless bastards. Like, they literally just decide one day, boom, fucking ban me, and reduced our reach to like 5%.
Yeah,
you know, just overnight. And like, when you're building businesses and things around this, like, they don't care. They genuinely, if you were paid ads or you're bringing that to their table, they're like, boom, you're not in. We've moved on.
100%, man.
But you were aware that idea and it was going to have a shelf life.
Oh, for sure.
So you're just mopping that up. Like.
We are just thinking, let's make as many videos as we can today and tomorrow, because it's still going to be here and today and tomorrow, we hope. So it's just a case of like, run as fast as you can now, because someday you're going to be paralyzed. So we were just running, man. We were hiring as many people. We were doing as many videos as we could. We were really pushing the limit at what you could post and what you could get away with. And yeah, we ended up, I think we worked it out. So we did. We were sitting one night and we were having a couple of drinks and enjoying ourselves. And one of the guys, Tom, funny enough, he's like, let's just work out if you were to add all of the minutes viewed on our videos. So minutes viewed is so if you watched my video, you'd watch 3 minutes. Okay, so if you add up all of the minutes viewed across all of our videos, right? So there is, I think, it was something like 45 billion views in total over the past year, minutes viewed on that. And he worked out the calculation that we had essentially killed, it was like a social media genocide, so it was. We had essentially killed 69 people if they on average lived to 85 years. So it would take 65 people living to 85 years to watch continuously the amount of minutes spent watching all of our videos in total. That's how, and we were all very high, and that completely blew our minds. And we were all like, this is like a millennial genocide that we're causing. This is so bad. But crazy figures. But man, it very quickly.
Did you say 45 billion?
45 billion over the course of that year, yeah.
That is fucking mad.
Like, absurd. But these numbers don't mean anything at the end of the day. You know, like, once you hit 1 million, once you hit 1 billion, the buzz kind of fades. And it does just become pressure. And you're just thinking, like, how do we do better?
If you got to run at it again, would you change how you've done it?
Oh, massively.
Is like, if you look back and you say, I could have had longevity if I had started evolving that quick or different. But how do you just keep coming with them ideas? I know you might get a team of people, but the problem with the likes of these social media things, you have to be radical. Like, that has to be completely different. If somebody says to you, it might sound crazy at the time, to all of a sudden it's working for somebody.
Yeah, it's very, man, the ideas was the hardest part. And the idea, we would have people in the teams that would throw ideas at us, but really me and Tom were the only ones that were able to come up with the viral ideas, you know. Like, we created a cheating format that we ended up doing 15 cheating videos back to back because it done so well. Where it was essentially, it would be a CCTV camera video in the room or in one of the rooms in the house, and Tom would put on a suit with flowers, and I would look like this real edgy kind of guy who's in with a girl. So the video starts with me like hugging a girl, or we're chilling watching a movie, and then boom, I jump up and I'm reacting, panicking, clearly showing that, shit, your boyfriend's just came home. So I instantly jump behind the sofa so you can see me clear as day panic. And then Tom will walk in holding flowers and he'll be hugging his girlfriend and he'll start to suspect something. And we play this cat and mouse for 4 or 5 minutes around the room where he's subtly trying to find me, but I'm also moving and hiding and she's trying to keep him from finding me. So it was very much, man, Mr. Bean inspired. Very much like Tom and Jerry. Like, it was very comical, very silly. We took all these elements.
The methodical thinking behind that. So you watch them, they look all stupid, but the absolute background, the breakdown, the thought pattern. Actually, it was probably just CCTV of the houses in your man.
But people are watching this here and they're like, oh, this is real.
Yeah, a lot of them
like,
think
you're
it's
staging
real.
this, obviously.
It's completely staged. We would rehearse it multiple times. We'd get multiple takes. The girls who we would hire or work with us full time, so they're just like our best friends. It's kind of just literally a group of young 20-year-olds who are all best friends, all very talented, making videos. But
I think that's the thing with social media, the fakeness of it.
Yeah.
Like you're
inside the matrix.
Yeah. Like you're doing that there, but it's even the taking a photo down Portrush and all's good, but you walk down the road and you're like, this is the worst day ever.
Yeah, man, it's incredibly toxic, incredibly misleading and dangerous. So you definitely have to be very careful at what you consume and how you consume it. I think that's the biggest thing. I think everybody's very aware of how dangerous social media is.
It's funny. I always had this thing, and I watched it one time, and it was like, produce on social media, don't consume it. The more if you find, like, if you're watching it more than you're actually posting on it, it's the wrong balance. It's the wrong way around. You should be, if you're in art and you want to be producing on it, you don't want to be consuming. But as you say there, like, you're inside the matrix. You've taken the blue pill. Like, you've opened your eyes. You realise that, look. So when you're looking at videos now, unlike we probably also, or anybody that's listening or watching now, that you see it, you're like, no, yeah, that's not happening, or that's not, So all these wee ones you see in these homecomings and all, look at these happen, this thing, aren't they great? They're fucking staged.
They're all staged, man.
The only two real men left is me and the handsome stranger. But Lee, it's fucking mad.
It's mad, man.
Like, even when you talk it out now, do you see yourself that the crazy?
Man, I mean, I wish I could show it to you guys, because it was just so wild, so hectic.
I wish I could see it. I genuinely wish I was there with you.
Yeah, we ended up building a prop room of about £60,000 worth of. We got a UFO made, right? So we one of the ideas was like, let's pretend a UFO crash lands in the garden. We'll go to Home Depot and then we'll got this really real latex alien suit, and we staged heavily. We got lasers and all on it. We pranked one of these girls that, shit, something's crashed in the garden, and she comes out and she finds a spaceship and an alien.
Sounds like a dodgy.
You'd love it. So anyway, I was like,
me.
Cut
that wee bit out. But so nothing was off the table. Like, somebody cut
off the table.
Like, imagine you turn around and go, I was watching ET last night. I think we need to do a fucking UFO tomorrow. Boom, let's get her made. Home Depot.
Dude, we ended up getting into the space. We had a CGI artist in LA produce stuff for us. So we got a girl, we went to the beach. There was like a cafe that had a really good view looking down in the beach, so you could kind of see the water and the harbour very well. We got this girl to swim around, and I'm shouting on a megaphone, okay, so swim and look over your shoulder, pretend the shark is coming now, dive under the water, and then in post, we gave it to the CGI artist, and he stuck in a shark. A really real looking shark that was blurred under the water. You could kind of see its shadow come up. That video got like 250 million views. It looked so real, but that was so incredibly staged.
Oh, I feel like I've been cheated, because I have watched shark videos and go, fuck, I was close.
Man, it was... So
Shark Week on Discovery is completely fucked up.
Yeah, Jaws, very fake. It doesn't exist. So there was no limit. There was literally no limit. Anything that we could think of. And then we really just got exhausted towards the end. We couldn't...
Did your magic go on the back burner here?
Magic kind of went in the back burner. We started bringing in these magic illusions to do. Julius was very focused on, he didn't want to forget his brand, so we started doing these big illusions in this town. So we were bringing in like this water levitation device that he could walk across the pool. He had literally this device, and I can't explain how it works, but he literally had a device that makes him float and levitate. No strings, nothing. Like he just starts to float around the room. And we'd done a couple of cool videos. So magic heavily pushed to the side. We'd done a couple of illusions to keep Julius happy. But yeah, like I wasn't practicing. We weren't staying fresh with it. All of our attention was how do we go viral in social media and how do we go as viral as possible.
Did you become disillusioned with it at the end, or was it?
Oh, just so desensitized to it, man, and so sick of it. But it was heavily. I wasn't using it. We were just producing on it. But it became such a big thing. There was so much analytics to it. There was so many people to look after. It just became exhausting. You know, like very quickly we were running this multi-million-pound company pretty much overnight, and I had to deal with all the shit. You know, me and the guy Tom. So we burnt out massively. We both. Pretty much.
You're like, fuck us, back to Portrush.
Yeah, me, Julius and Tom and had a conversation with like, look, we've done incredibly well out of this. Let's just, Facebook's changing, you know, we're not getting the same numbers, we're not making the same money. There's now so many people that we're paying, with these villas to pay for. Let's just can it, man. Like we've done so well. Let's just can it, see what happens in a couple of years and go back to Portrush. So yeah, I did go back to Port. I also fell in love over there, which was amazing. So I met a beautiful girl. She was from Galway. So then I went back to her.
You went the whole way to Lord's Hellward.
I went and
you could have got a fucking bus to her.
I know. First Irish person I met was like, yes, please. A little slice of home. So I just went to Galway and like recollected myself and kind of been doing this ever since, man, to be honest. I haven't really been doing overly much. Just enjoying myself. Snapchat is now the main driver that we're doing, so we're doing a lot of videos on Snapchat.
We're going to pull your snap because people are going to want to follow you after this, so we're going to post that up so people can.
Yeah, you can have a look. It's called Tom and Lee. But they're just these silly pranks. I wouldn't even don't follow me because it's trashy content. Trust me,
people love it.
I'm only doing it for the money. Don't. It's not good. You're not going to get anything.
These Galway women aren't cheap.
Yeah, she's getting more expensive each time. So actually, please do. I need to take to the Maldives. So if everybody could follow Tom and Lee and make sure to watch the ad because that gives us money. But yeah, the content's not good. But it performs well. And that's the difference. We became like kind of these.
You don't sound like you loved what you were doing, to be fair. You sound like it was a buzz at the start and then you started getting a wee bit like, right, okay, I'm getting a bit disillusioned with all what we're doing here.
It just got too big, man. It became like we were making these fun pranks and it was doing well, and then it just blew up and we all of a sudden had this huge responsibility. We were number one and there was all these people coming to us and there's all this attention and we're in the spotlight.
Your production line.
The production line is like we couldn't take a day off, you know, and it very quickly was like, okay, I'm going to be strong, ride this out for a year, and then I can quit and retire, kind of thing. So no regrets. I mean, it was incredibly fun during it all, you know, as difficult and as stressful as well. It was wild, man. It was like living in the Wild West, living in the Matrix. There was no predicting any of it. Are you back working on the magic now? So we're doing more magic now, which is really nice. Like we had the opportunity to go to Paris last week, probably the biggest gig I've ever done in my life. I was shit scared going to it, but we were doing a thing for PSG. So like Messi was there, Neymar.
So wait a minute, you were performing for Messi last week, and you're in here,
and I'm in here. So you know, things always get better. To think I was in the sticks last week and now I'm in the riches and the royals.
You and Mbappe and Messi were just slumming it, and then we brought you up to Kildare.
I was looking at my watch being like, can I just be here next, you know, can time move faster for me? Because this is... But
so so obviously the success of it still getting you these, you're still out and about, and like you just casually threw out that was a PA. Let's do it. Let's name drop. Let's name drop.
Throw out the names.
How many? What is the? So this is Messi. We're only back from the World Cup. Probably the biggest name in the world.
Probably, right, yeah. I didn't realize how big he was until I had all my football friends message me, being like, "Mate, this is the most crazy thing." Very intimate red tie events. It was kind of like.
So you were like, "Oh, Messi, yeah. I've heard of him." And your mates were like, "What the?"
Literally, man, it was like standing in the bloody Greenfield. Like it was this tiny little bougie event, very small room. There wasn't a lot of press. You weren't really allowed to take, like, it was that. It wasn't the case where you could go up and take a load of photos and videos, and you had to play the part, you know. So I had to be like calm and collected, and we were all suited up in dicky bows and stuff. And Sergio Ramos was there, like Giovanni, the whole PSG team, pretty much. I don't know the rest of them.
It's the richest team in the world, isn't it?
And the owner was there as well, this billionaire from, I'm not too sure where he was from, but weird, man. I was eating my dinner, right? We went in and started eating dinner, and like I look over my shoulder and there's Messi and Neymar literally touching distance away, eating the same dinner. And I'm like, how have I ended up here? So truly, man, magic is magical. It creates these magic moments. It's like being a singer and just opportunities come to you. So there's been so much beauty in this journey of
were you sitting there going, that's not a touch of my dad's pies, like?
It's like, where's the mince and spuds at? You know, there's like fancy fish.
And like, that is mad. And well, let's bang out the names here. We want a name drop. I want to hear who have you performed in front of or done magic to? Like,
probably the biggest would be Drake. I didn't get a chance to perform to him, but I videoed Julius doing a trick to him. Post Malone, Shawn Mendes. I
would love to hear Kevin Hart coming out of your mouth, because I think he is deadly.
He is very good, isn't he? I'd love to meet him. I think he would be great crack doing it too.
He's coming on here in a couple of weeks.
The next time he's in Lavery's Comedy Club, we'll get him up the road.
He's in next week. There's been loads of people. I'd have to kind of go back and like remember, but you got Kygo, Post Malone, and then a lot of smaller ones. They're kind of like the ones that stand out. But we would always have done these festivals, and you'd have to do everyone in the festival. So like all the supporting acts and everything, and through that you got to meet so many people.
Was there any real dicks? Just name them.
Massive. Yes, sorry, actually. Yes, the time we went to Vegas, there was Machine Gun Kelly, Dan Bilzerian, and Cardi B. Cardi B's massive. I didn't realize how famous this chick was, and she
Cardi, you know. Yeah.
So Julius had the trick, and I got myself with the iPhone in position in front of all the media on the red carpet, and she comes out and the whole place just shuts down, man. Like fans jump the fence, start running over. So Julius didn't get an opportunity to perform, but I'm still stuck in front of all these like ABC News and CNBC behind me. She walks right up to me and she starts saying, "Hey, my name's Cardi B." But she sent it to my iPhone, man. So it's on my Instagram story. So I'm recording it. She's not looking at these cameras. There's news presenters beside me, like holding their mics in, and they're like, "Why is this little kid, like, get out of the way?" And I'm getting a shot of Cardi B presenting herself to open this nightclub open this new casino in Vegas. And who else was there? There was another guy. What is his name? Julius on the truck. He was a massive cock. He wasn't nice. He used to go out with Halsey. What was his name?
Oh, we'll have it up by the time.
We'll get it up.
And was he just a fucking tube?
He wasn't nice. He wasn't nice. A lot of them aren't nice, to be honest. He's very famous. I forget his name. He's had a couple of really big songs. But yeah, he wasn't nice. He really wasn't. He didn't like the magic. He just a lot of them, to be honest, man. Or like even whenever I was doing the magic on Neymar, give a good reaction, but they live such an entertaining life that they're kind of a bit numb to it.
They have fucking people brought in all the time for different things. And
the best of the best all the time, you know. It's like him eating the best food in the world, and he pretty much eats it every day. You know, he doesn't appreciate it. So there's always that. Like Messi was nice.
Was it G-Eazy?
G-Eazy, man. That's him.
G-Eazy.
He was a massive.
If you're watching this, you're ball back.
G-Eazy, you're a prick. Didn't like how you looked after us.
Halsey, you done good, mate. Dan
Bilzerian, massive bell end as well.
Was he?
Oh,
I'm fucking glad to hear that.
Also so short, man. Like literally was up to my chin. I had to laugh.
Really?
Literally up to my chin, and he stood there. He was promoting his new vape, and we had a table in the club, and he was the table right beside us, and he had all these girls like a coliseum around him. So sad, and he's sitting there baked off his face, sucking this weed pen that he's promoting. And like we're young and loose, you know, like I was only 22 at this point. So I'm like having a couple of shots. Like I'm just running around being like, this is so much fun. Look at all these people here, you know, and
women.
You're just women. Yeah. And you're having a great time, man. The Nelk boys. I don't know if you know them.
I've heard it. I don't know.
They were with us that night. Like we ended up going back to their place. Just so much happens, man.
That's like fucking great. You need to start doing memoirs.
What was it like partying with the Nelk boys?
It was the Nelk. I'll tell you what actually happened. It was we went back to the Nelk.
See,
boys
this
place.
is the young generation. Me and Sean haven't a fucking clue. And there's Aidan sitting over with Sammy in the corner looking to find out what it's like to party with the Nelk boys.
It was good fun, to be honest. Yeah, it was really. So the Nelk boys took us back to their place, and then Machine Gun Kelly came up, and he was with us. And then is he going out with that girl Megan Fox?
Yes.
Well, It was there. It was the last week, wasn't he?
He was last week anyway. And
Matt Megan Fox got a picture, a fucking side story here for you before I jump in here. We were going to the Conor McGregor fight, and we come in the limo in the bottom, and I was like, "There's Megan Fox," and I was like, "Megan, I get a photo," and my mom was like, "Who the fuck is Megan? How do you know her? How do you know her? like this is somebody that I met back home, right?" And then she goes, "There's Chris Pratt," and he said whatever way he said something cheeky there, and she was like, "He is a fucking Pratt."
Yeah,
but you're just in there. Like I suppose at some point then it's just over your head. Like
you kind of just have to
like.
just go for it and laugh about it, you know. And at the end of the day, all these people are normal people. You very quickly realize that like the facade of who you think they are fades straight away. Like this is just a normal dude who's very creative at making music, and you see that straight away, you know. And once you're just laid back, they're very laid back as well, you know. It's the image that you have of them, you know, from social media and from the world that they've built up around themselves of who they are, but really they're never, you know. The only one person I want to meet is Trump. He's top of the list.
They say never meet your hero.
They say you never meet your hero.
Never meet your hero.
Never meet your hero.
They could disappoint you.
I hope he's not my hero, because God, Machine Gun Kelly can be my hero. He could be one of them guys. But we tried. We did try. We were messaging the White House all the time, trying to see if we could come and do magic.
That just sounds fucking matter. Just drop the fucking line to the White House saying, "Look, Trump, if you need me in there, you know, I'll show you a magic show."
I know you've got nothing better to be doing, so do you want to pick a card? You know, him sitting there running the biggest country in the world. But yeah, it was very good fun. It was very, very good fun, man. And now at the moment we're just enjoying it. We're kind of.
Have you any aspirations, any plans, or anything in the pipeline that?
Not really, man, to be honest. I feel very satisfied now. Like I'm turning 25. I'm at this point where
But you have lived 10 lives already. Eh?
I'm kind of looking forward to just chilling and taking it easy and like spending quality time with good friends and family. And, you know, there's a whole other side of life than this fake plastic world that I've been a part of for a long time.
Well, hey, it sounds like you've your head screwed on. Because to go through all that there.
And I hope you took plenty of dough out of it.
I hope so. Yeah. Now what do you do with it is the question. So maybe we can have a chat after if you have any advice. But yeah, no, it done very well. I do want to focus more on magic. I want to get back into that's really where the passion lies, and that's where the magic truly lies.
I think we're going to move into a bit of magic now.
I think so. Do you just want to say a very quick magic trick? There's a card
anyway.
sitting there, and it's been sitting here the whole time. So there's no way I could have swapped that. Okay.
I will literally watch back this.
Have you guys ever seen one of these before?
No.
No, you've never seen it.
No.
Really?
No. What is it?
It's a teleportation device.
Fuck no, I've never seen it. I could use one.
No, it's very good. So it is. And so could I get you to hold out your hand, Bear? You can keep that safe. So put your hands on top of it, just because it actually goes through skin and any kind of material, metals and
He's
stuff.
fucking freaking me out here already.
So people is listening. It's a wee black piece of leather. That's
Look, guys, if you're listening, jump on YouTube. This is going to be fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be a very quick trick. But yeah, it's a teleportation device, and it's very expensive. Just works off Bluetooth. Surprisingly enough, it's amazing. These are charged cards, so they have a certain magnetic frequency within them that they can connect to that pretty much through anything. So that
He's
can
fucking
also go
me,
through
isn't he?
your hand.
Right.
But anyway, you can see I can try and do this for the camera more so than you guys.
Yeah,
You'll be able to watch it, but you can see it's just a normal packet of cards. Never trust a magician, but it is. You can trust me, so. You're calling that, but it is really. You can see all the cards are different.
Yeah.
I just want you to say stop. I'm going to go through the cards once. And just say stop for me.
Stop.
Here? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you got the 3 of clubs. Okay, now watch this. I'll try and do this for the camera, but you can hear that rip the corner off. So this is kind of like a receipt of this 3 of clubs. And you really could have got, it's not like they're all 3 of clubs or anything. So we have the 3 of clubs. You can look after that.
Yep.
Keep that safe, and I'll hold on to the receipt of that. And it's a teleportation device. So this is really how it works. You simply just close your hands. I have no sleeves or anything there, or it could disappear. And it just works instantly. It's so cool. It just vanishes. Because that's the teleportation device, of course.
Get that cunt out of here. What the fuck?
Well, you haven't opened
apologies,
this yet.
wasn't calling
You obviously don't believe it's a teleportation device.
No, what I do believe is it was in his hand a minute ago and it's not there now.
And it's completely gone. Now, you're holding on to the receipt, right? So there's only one corner in the world that can match that tear for tear. Right, and that is the card that you just watched me tear it and it's disappeared. Told you there was a levitation device or a teleportation device in your hands. You don't believe me. Prove everyone wrong Please.
He's full of shit. You're exposed
Go
all
on.
night. Can I open it?
Open it there.
Oh, class. That is lethal.
And you're listening to this, you need to that fucking bollocks just fucking scared the dog out of me, mate.
I was waiting for the piece of card to make this fucking thing here.
I'm terrified. Someday I'm going to give someone a heart attack by doing that. And I have to run away very fast.
There's a slow-mo coming up of this.
Of course, that's not a teleportation device. Don't be so silly. That obviously doesn't
Fucking
exist.
teleported me out of my seat, so it did.
But here, I'll try something else.
The trick now.
That is the trick. I mean, Bear, it must be broken because it's just exploded everywhere. But hold on to that because we might use it after. But here, Bear, I'll try one with you. This isn't necessarily a card trick. This is just
I ain't fucking holding anything for you again.
Don't worry, your hands are too rough for me anyway. I like soft.
I'm too old. I'm too rough. You know what? Put this dog down, right?
No, it's a bit of crack. Okay, so we'll do an imagination game.
Right. Okay.
So I want you to close your eyes.
Right.
And I want you just to imagine that you're somewhere in the world. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're somewhere in the world, and let's just see how we could do this. I want you to think of somewhere in the world. Do you have somewhere in your head?
Yeah. I'm standing there.
You're standing there, right? I want you to imagine there and to feel maybe it's hot or cold, maybe it's in Europe or it's away.
Did I tell you?
Don't tell me yet.
All right. Okay.
Do you have that little? You want to pull that out?
In my pocket.
So, for the first time, just say where you're at.
Am I closing my eyes here?
You can open your eyes actually now.
All right. Okay.
Sorry. So just to conclude, you're thinking of somewhere in the world.
Yeah.
It could be anywhere random, but you're thinking of somewhere, and just for the first time, where
is
is
this what
it?
he gave you at the start?
Mm-hmm.
I give you a little sealed envelope at the very beginning of all this.
Right.
Where are you at in the world?
Leaning Tower of Pisa.
The Leaning Tower of Pisa in Italy. So you're quite close to home. Okay, and that's a very fair choice. You could have genuinely chosen the entire world. Everybody could hear that. But you're at the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
I don't like where this is going.
This is actually quite interesting. Before I came here, but even before this podcast, I wrote something down on a piece of paper and I gave that to you as soon as I got here. Before I even said hello, before we done any of it, and I said, put that in your back pocket. We'll use it later on, and I don't know when, but now I think it actually makes sense. The Leaning Tower. So you chose Italy. Open that up if you can. You'll notice it might be difficult because there's sellotape. So try get into it somehow. So it's sealed shut. And you can confirm it's completely sealed. There's no way I can get into
You have
that.
it well sealed.
And inside there is a little question mark with a piece of paper. Also, you might find...
You weren't playing about here with this.
You might find another little surprise in there as well.
Oh, you better not. I'm waiting for...
I fucking hope it does. You'll
find...
Shut your
Shut
mouth.
up.
Sean.
And the piece of the card.
Oh.
That's been in my pocket the whole time.
Let's see if it fits.
I'm leaving.
How?
I'm out.
Are you
That's
guys...
fucking mad.
So there's the little...
Right.
You can keep that.
Right.
You can keep that.
You can keep that.
What the fuck?
And this is why I love Magic, is that you guys never know what's going to happen.
I want to go to fucking Magic Live.
You would love it.
Somebody get
Guys,
punched in the head if they scare the shit out of me.
even better, right as we speak, well, it starts tomorrow, but the biggest Magic convention in the world is happening in Blackpool. So I'm not even... if you guys had tomorrow free, book a very quick flight over to Manchester and go round and have a
Wait a
laugh.
minute, we're in Liverpool tomorrow morning.
Are you actually?
Aye.
Well, then go to Blackpool. It's the biggest convention. Tickets would cost you for a day like £100, but you get to walk around and you will meet the most talented, most crazy people, and they're all performing and demonstrating this stuff to you, and you can buy it.
If some bala scares the dung out of me like that again tomorrow, he's getting fucking emptied.
That's class.
Look, I you know what? I have no doubt there's more craziness on the horizon for you. very engaging podcast. I've had some crack, and I probably jumped across you a few times just because I wanted to get so much of the detail. But like that's class. But what the fuck is going on here?
So there's a card. So there's a card being sitting in the middle of the table for the whole time. Now this is one of my favorite tricks to perform because it's a perfect example of I have no control. You have all the choices. Can I control you though? That's the question that I ask myself. So something that keeps me up late at night. How could I use my influence and what I've said previously to influence what you're going to think? And I'm going to try and demonstrate that in some way, and you can listen to my voice and how fair it sounds. But the real question is, am I doing it now or have I already done it? That's what's going to play in your mind. Or am I trying to do it now and speaking to you? So now you're sort of
fucking with me again.
Now you're kind of stuck with the now or what I've done, and you're trying to work out, is he playing with me now? So it's all playing with psychology and trying to change your thought patterns of what you would initially think of to break it up, and then for me to try and predict loosely with where you're going to end up. But I've already made my prediction and it's right here, so I can't change that. So I have to be very sure that what I've put in the table is going to be on the table, and it's going to be what you come up with. So we'll try it with you, even better. Yeah. So you're familiar with a packet of cards. Of course, you 52 cards. So I'll keep it relatively simple. I want you just to imagine any card that calls out to you. I'm going to keep this incredibly fair. Imagine you're going through a packet of cards like so. And you can just see them. You've got like a king. You've got don't go for an obvious one like the Ace of Spades or the Queen of Hearts because they're very obvious cards. Or you can.
I've already chose it.
You've already chose it. Amazing. So you already have this.
I thought I had a card in my head. But anyway.
So you already have a card in your head. Are you happy with it?
Yeah.
Do you want to change your mind?
No.
You're adamant you don't want to change your mind.
Yeah.
Because you will look back on this whenever you listen to this podcast and you'll say, Bear, I should have fucking changed my mind. I am giving you this free token. But you're not going to change your mind. Brilliant. I knew he wasn't going to, because I knew you're a strong character. You have that persona.
Right. I ain't going to make a prediction. If you said the same one as me and this in your head, I'm fucking leaving. I'm not even bringing the show to them.
I'm not that good. I'm a magician, not a miracle worker.
You fucking...
and so what you can say for the first, you definitely don't want to change your mind. You're very confident that you don't want to change your mind.
Yeah.
Why are you so confident?
Just like the card.
So you really like the card. But do you feel confident with the card?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think could that card be sitting on this table the entire time?
No.
Why not?
Just don't think you're going to get it.
What if I told you the card that you're thinking of right now is sitting on the table, and I'm telling you to change your mind?
No, I'm not changing my mind.
You're not going to change your mind.
No.
Perfect. I knew you weren't going to. What was the card?
8 of clubs.
The 8 of clubs. Turn that over very slowly.
Fucking smart ass.
I've been sitting at the table the whole time. You go fuck yourself. For anybody listening, we have just turned the card over on the table 100%. Thought it was going to be the 8 of clubs, and it reads, "Go fuck yourself." I would have given that to fucking G-Easy.
I wish I had it. That's one of my that is an Irish trick right there.
Yes.
I was like, there's only one place that this will sell is people back at home.
Yeah.
They'll appreciate
We've
that.
got the humour for it.
It's got the humour for it. It's the funny one, isn't it? The climax of it, man. I would always do a performance.
I was like, oh, is this going to be the 8 of clubs?
Yeah.
I thought it was the 2 of hearts. I was like, it's the 2 of hearts. It's the fucking 2 of hearts. If Scullion says the 2 of hearts, I'm fucking out. Like. But it's been really enjoyable.
It's been a pleasure.
A fucking great crack.
It's been brilliant.
I do know that this will not be the last that we hear. It's funny when I say the last that we hear of you, because we know all the work now you're saying it that you've done and are responsible for, and pretty much think you don't want to be saying it, but you've done it.
Yeah.
And you know what's great about this is all around the world, and people all around the world, and all these children aspire to do these things. Right from Cookstown, from our own door, one of our own doing it. It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you very much for coming on.
Well, thank you guys. It's been awesome, and follow your dream. Don't give up on it. Anything is possible if you put your mind to it. It doesn't matter where you're from or what you come from. You can do whatever you want. The world is your oyster. Just believe, man. It's so powerful, So thank you. It's been really fun. Really, really fun.
Gentleman.
Sorry for almost giving you a heart attack. he's still here for another podcast.
Brilliant.
Awesome.